Welcome. The event here over the last few days was hectic. We had 20 guys here in Montenegro. It's come a long way since the boxing with no roof, run in the mud. We actually did quite a lot of running at the event. There was a time trial on the first day, like 1 hour max distance around a track that we made around the property. So the biggest, it's a 1 kilometer track with 50 meters elevation. So this is a world-class ultra distance runner. He led that. He's like 93 kilos as well than most guys, and runs much better than most. So it's a good initial wake up and push. And then we end up doing a 27K walk and hike and then run through some rivers and into the hills here on day 3, which is hectic as well.
Mate, it looked awesome. When I saw the pictures, especially you guys like down by the river and stuff, it was quite dreamy, man. I was wanting to be there for sure.
Yeah, Manuel took some good photos. We had a fire, we had a barbecue up the top of the property, just over the fire on that third night after the 27K run, fasted, and then we came back and that was the food and cooked up the top there. So it's pretty big, big day. Some cool experiences. Everyone looking to grow. Yeah. Be cool to hear like the latest and maybe even sharing the journey. Like, since that's the heart of the Brave brand, is like the story. For those of you aren't familiar with it yet or want to recap, maybe you can share the origins of Brave brand, how we got to this point.
Yeah, man, for sure. I think, like, firstly, time flipping flies. Like, it's quite crazy. I think we all can appreciate that, and I think anyone who's sort of kicking off on this journey, it's like being able to just put yourself on the path and stick to it consistently and persistently. Like, it's quite surprising how quickly life can change. And I think the journey, just in terms of Uncom and Brave brand and everything, it started out in London. That's sort of where I sort of was running my first business, my video production company, telling stories for brands and that sort of thing. And on paper it was epic, man. And it got to a stage, I remember you sharing that sort of analogy of frogs boiling in a pot to me, and I was like, holy shit, like, that is what's happening. I'm like living in a place, in an environment that is just completely unconducive to the life that I wanted to live. And so that sort of kicked off the journey of getting out of there, man, and sort of going down the uncommon path, if you will. And I think it was still early days, just in terms of what was going on with Uncom and everything. But it was just like, get out, start traveling, and sort of start creating value and putting myself out there, because what I was essentially back then was a commodity, right? I was essentially anonymous. I was invisible because I was marching around the world as a videographer, right? And how many videographers are there in the world? And I think what I found really challenging was, when you are running around with that label, you become a commodity, and you're quite limited by how much you can earn, whether it's in person or online. And yeah, I definitely felt that. So it was like, all right, how can I get out of that, the environment of sort of trading my time for money and being a sort of like wage slave, if you want to call it that, sort of having to do, the amount of hours to earn a certain amount of money. And so I think the idea or the concept or the dream or the vision was to start monetizing my knowledge, right? It was like, how can I take the expert set of skills that I had learned in that environment and turn it into something of value for people through the content I produce, through the courses, through the mentorship or whatever, And so that was the opportunity. And a few years later, through however many iterations it's been, it's like it's at a place now where this is my life's work, and it's something I'm incredibly thrilled to sort of commit every fucking day to, excuse my language. But You know, it's the process of, yeah, just getting to a place where it's like I'm getting paid for my knowledge as opposed to just my time. And that's been one of the most valuable transformations of, you know, getting here. And so, I mean, there's so many different like little details that we could go into if you wanted to, but that's sort of the long and short of it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a beautiful journey that so many want to take, but few have taken. So congratulations on stepping out of the, you know, jumping out of the pot is the analogy there. Um, so now, like, share a little bit more about like what's making the biggest difference for the people that you're working with now that you've gone on this journey yourself. You've built your own personal brand, you've built a business, you've proven you can do it, and now you're helping others to do the same. What are the keys? What's working?
Yeah, yeah. I think, you know, the thing that it always comes down to, from my experience and what we've been doing, is that the majority of people out there, whether they're coaches or they're in the ATG space or they're personal trainers or whatever, is that the temptation is to label yourself as something, and in the process of labeling yourself, you simply become a commodity, right? Now, I said that in my own experience there, but you know, that's one of the most common things I see, especially with young trainers, young coaches. It's like, okay, I'm just in the sea of everyone else doing the same flipping thing. All right. So how do I actually create something of value that, you know, stands me in a market of my own, that people can come to me and resonate with my brand and be attracted to my brand through what I'm known for? And I think the biggest transformation, you know, that I've seen is when a brand or a person, you know, because at the end of the day, your brand isn't your logo, your colors, or any of that stuff. You know, you might think it is, but your brand really is your reputation. And so, like, understanding and getting like extreme clarity on what your brand is going to be known for and what you want your reputation to be and what it says about you. I think that is the thing that once people can find that, like, it'll give them so much clarity and bravery and confidence in actually showing up on social media. Because, like I said, you know, it's so easy to just replicate and do what everyone else is flipping doing. All right, and that's sort of the, like, you could even call that the common path, if you will. And you know, we talk about it on social media. The market's saturated. There's loads of people, but it's like, how do you create a brand that you know, actually resonates a little bit differently? You know, you've done it, Keegs. Knees over toes guy has done it, and they create this wave of, like, you know, and there's nothing wrong with going up the journey and following someone else's path, but it's like, how do you from the start create a brand that actually is a true reflection of your own uniqueness? And so I think to answer your question, like, the thing that's working is like understanding deeply, like, what do you want to be known for? And so the challenge, you know, with all of us, because, you know, we're all on a journey of growth and we're changing all of the time, is like also allowing your brand and your personality to keep evolving and keep adapting. Like, you know, I've changed my name on Instagram like however many times, my brand however many times. Yes, it's been detrimental to some degree, but I had to go through those different layers to get to the stage where I was like, holy crap, I'm going all in on this. And so it's sort of that self-reflective process of understanding, like, what do I want my brand to be about? What do I actually want my reputation to be about? And so, you know, what type of man do I want to be? You know, that's really what it comes down to. And so, you know, everyone like wants to know the secret pill, the $1 million launch plan. How do I create $1 million? But I think what it actually comes down to is like, who are you as a person? Like, the self-development journey. How many push-ups can you do? You know, how many books have you read? How much stuff have you put into action? And that's, you know, that's what's, you know, I love about Uncom, is how it is a holistic view of it, because you can't have a successful business if you're not, you know, someone who holds himself to high standards and is continually growing. And I think, you know, it's a self-reflective process, but I think there's a lot of brands out there. They're just trying to jump on viral trends. They're trying to do viral music. They're trying to just replicate what everyone else is doing. And you're kind of missing the point, all right, in terms of developing a reputation and a brand that, you know, people are actually going to know you for. And so, to answer your question, it's like, what's your uniqueness? Like, what actually makes you a unique human being that's going to resonate with more people? And I think that's sort of the key, or the starting point, I would say.
Yeah. And that makes life exciting because you then working on yourself becomes the center of your financial future and your brand.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can you maybe share a bit about the Bali Time Chamber experience and what you experienced there at the start before anyone really knew what it was going to be, and then like seeing that brand expand.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that was really an epic experience. I think, no, I remember seeing like Nico, he'd like gone off social media and then sort of came back and he was developing and building this like insane mountain location, retreat space, whatever it was like, whoa, this is interesting. And I think, when I heard the name, the Bali Time Chamber, as a Dragon Ball Z fan, I was like, whoa, this is flipping epic, man. And so yeah, I think it was early doors. I think the brand had like 5,000 followers on Instagram when we went there. Um, and yeah, it was, I mean, when I got there, the initial impressions were just like, this space is like 5-star quality. This is something special. And I think there was an air about the place and the brand that, we were like, this is going to pop off. Like, this is going to be something that is going to like make a lot of impact. And so it was almost like that feeling was there. I think what I realized and what I guess we can all learn from the Bali Time Chamber brand is that the brand's vision and the mission was a big and scary and audacious one. And it was like, to create the next generation of strong men. And, it was like, that's the vision, boom. And I remember having a chat to Nico about it. The bio on the Instagram was initially like, sleep, train, eat, etc. And it was in retreat space, commodity space almost. It was like, yeah, I'm the retreat, but it's like, no, like, let's talk about the vision. Like, let's actually show what the brand's mission is on there. And so I think, obviously Nico has a huge ambitions and stuff. And so I think him from the start having that is something that's almost set the brand up on a powerful foundation. I think that plus what was going on there, a collection of men all trying to flip and improve themselves. And it's hilarious to see like the videos people make hating on the place. I think someone sent me this one where they were like, sort of taking shots at it. And but it's such a good sign that it's actually standing for something and it's not being afraid to stand for something. It's the embodiment of a brave brand in a way, because it's like, Nico doesn't give a crap what these people are saying. It's like, no, this is a space and it's in a magical space really if you go to it. So I think there's a lot of things you can learn from that whole business and the whole setup, and it's so cool to see how it's gone completely global, which has been cool.
Yeah, and the exactly what you were speaking about. Like Nico's been training hard, and he's been following, what was real movement, and now it's kind of the uncommon athletic direction with his training. Where you look at him and go like, well, it stands in the same way as Bali Time Chamber. It's something unique, something different. He can 5-ball juggle. He can handstand push up. He built his own personal brand around that physical foundation, and a lot of that uniqueness, confidence has come out in the other brand, and he's chosen to do that without putting himself at the front of it, which was brave in itself, and it's turned out to be a massive positive move. But yeah, that foundation of his own journey, his own development comes out clearly in what he's doing, even though he's not at the front of it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I think, it's interesting because, people, there's a conversation, like a lot of people ask me, is like, oh, should I do a business brand or a personal brand? Like, what should I do? And I think we need to remember that, Nico had a really successful personal brand before he launched the Bali Time Chamber. And I think there's definitely something to be said for that, in the sense that Nico was he set an example of the type of person he wanted to attract there. And he even said when we were in the Bali Time Chamber, he was like, yeah, I created the coolest place I could imagine for me. And guess what happened? He ended up attracting all of those type of people around the world to that space, because he was the example that was set, even though it was a business brand. And I think, what we're seeing now is like the personal brand side of things is like, that's like, I think a powerful starting point. And I really do think it will stand you in, huge amount of good stead, if you do want to launch a personal brand, a business brand, if you do want to start your own village, if you do want to do all these things, because people want to know, like, who's the mastermind, like what is the real intention behind this place? And so you can see that when you look at Nico's, like the way he trains, etc. You can see that with the way you do it, man. Like, you know, you're an example of the stuff that you're teaching. And I think that's something that a lot of people screw up on, because it's like, you know, you don't want to be the fat PT, right? You don't want to be the dentist with smelly breath. Like, you got to be someone who practices what you preach. Otherwise, people are going to be like, who the hell is this dude? And so I think, you know, that is also the cause of a lot of people's imposter syndrome and fear and all of that stuff, because it's like, holy shit, like, you know, have you actually put your money where your mouth is, type thing. And so, you know, I think that's a huge lesson as well.
Yeah. It's also worth jumping in here on the catalysts for starting this stuff. Like when I my personal brand went to another level when I partnered with Ben Patrick, and we did that unofficially to begin with. We were just supporting each other, and I was supporting ATG as it grew. And from when he started an Instagram account from zero, actually, just after we first started talking. But he had 50 online clients, making a couple of grand a month. And you could see like, oh, there's big potential in this. And I could see the potential in that. And he'd been following my stuff for 10 years, on and off. He'd seen me 10 years before. So he knew that I was in the game and I'd been in the game a long time. I was going to continue to go. Like, so we had that mutual respect for each other. Partnering with him, which eventually became ATG for Coaches, was huge for my personal brand. His three biggest cities for his first couple of years in business after we spoke were in Australia, and he only really knew me in Australia. So people underestimate the value of catalyst partnerships to get started. Nico's Bali Time Chamber, the first event was half Uncom players, and it was his buddies from France. Like it was playing to the home team, and that's what we need to do. Like that's almost everything is going to start in that way, but you get that critical mass of people who really care about you, who want to share something. And your own journey, Luke, like coming here 2 years ago, doing the boxing and stuff with Jay. Jay's been a massive catalyst for me as well. He's in his early 20s making, big money, building $1 million brands. It gives you like a boost and a possibility. Other people in Uncommon Success see you leading up the squats, doing the 90 kilos for 10D10, squats. It gives you that boost and that foundation. I think you're still in that early phase before the kind of the big mass adoption where other people can see it. But the men in our network know, okay, Luke really cares about what he's doing. He's getting results with people. The reviews are strong, and so it keeps building momentum. And for me, that's the superpower, that you don't have to do it on your own, and it's going to be a lot more fun. It's going to be a lot smoother transition into business if you can invite those who are already around you. Like people always like, who's my first client going to be? It's like, well, they're already all around you. You don't need to look anywhere to find those first fans and those first clients. You don't even need social media for that. Like, do stuff with good people, be the person you want to be, and then show that onto social media, because you're already being authentic, doing the thing. You've seen now some of these brands growing and some of these alliances with guys that you're working with. Some have been in Uncommon Success and Brave Brand at the same time, and they're taking off. What's your experience of like that brotherhood element and almost like playing to the home crowd?
Yeah, I mean, it really is the catapult and the launch of my journey into the knowledge economy and creating programs and working online. Because I remember, I think I was in South Africa or somewhere. I'd left London, and it's like, cool. I'd created this program, this course, this online course, and I was like, yeah, I'm going to make $1 million. This is going to be my epic launch. And, I sort of went down the traditional route of sort of launching it, solo. And, I think for those of you that don't know the story, it's like I paid a marketing agency like £10,000. I spent £5,000 with ads as well. I was just like, cool, like completely didn't understand sort of what it took. And I thought it was like this magic bullet that if you create the most beautiful funnel, if you have the most, well-polished ads, that you're going to, make a lot of money. And, it just wasn't the case. And I think I remember I'd gone through that process, and I just had this thought. I was like, I got to message Keegan. I was like, let's just message Keegan, see what's up. Like, I remember dropping you a message. I said, look, I created this program. I remember jumping on a call with you and you're like, well, mate, I have people who need this service or this product. Like, drop a message in the Telegram group. And so what I did was I put my initial offer together, which was, rather than a full-on charge full price for this, I was like, let me do a case study program. I think that was one of the suggestions, you came up with, or the brainstorm we had. And so the focus was build a case study program first, right? Get 10 people through the program, get the results, get the testimonials, build the confidence. Because at the same time, when I was doing that, I was very afraid to put it lightly. I was like, holy crap, I'm out of my comfort zone entirely here. Like, my comfort zone was creating films and advertising, and this was a whole new space. And so, there was a lot of that. I was like, okay, sort of that type of stuff to deal with. And I think what I did was I got 10 people through the program, and I think the deal was like $250. And if you complete the program and you give me a testimonial in return, I will refund the $250. And so what ended up happening was people had the investment, they had the motivation to actually finish the program, which was so important. Like, what it's like. If you get someone and they don't put a little bit of money down, they don't have any skin in the game, they do the program, they put it aside, they don't actually commit to it. And so I had like 10 committed people, went through the program, and I got my first messages back saying, Luke, I love this. This is awesome. This is so great. And for my confidence, that was huge, because before that I was like, wow, like this is quite a daunting experience. And so, beyond that, I was able to then take the feedback on, use the testimonials, and then the momentum started to build from there. And I think, for anyone who is thinking about launching a brand, thinking about launching something and selling your first programs, the process of going through a case study program whether it is just getting 3 clients or 4 clients who are not your mom, dad, brothers, I think is a huge advantage. And so, just to answer the brotherhood side of things, that was really the incubator. And I think, there's a lot to be said for that. And so I think just going forward, like the friendships and everything that I've made through this network is truly quite remarkable. And I think if I was to look at who my, the closest people in my circle now are all people that have come from Uncom. And so I think there's something to be said for that. And, having those in-person events, like Josh Whitlock, for example, he did my program, maybe a year after its inception, when it was a bit more evolved. And a year later, we had a collaboration, did an event in Croatia, which was awesome. And I think, also just seeing the pictures from Montenegro, man, like that's a future I want to be part of. Like that's a future I want to be part of, where it's like, guys are training, we're talking about incredible things, there's depth to every single interaction that's going on. And the weirdest thing about it, and I'll call it weird because it's certainly uncommon, is just like, it's like long lost brothers, man. That's what it's about, really. It's like, where the flip have these guys who actually see the world like I see it been for the majority of my life. And that's something that's really sort of hard to put your finger on. But until you experience it, until you go to Montenegro, you go to Croatia, you go to sort of the villages. And I think that's what I love about what's being created here. So, whether it's business, personal development, athleticism, it's like the journey is actually so much better, alongside each other. The lone wolf mentality will only get you so far. And, that's something I sort of wore as a badge of pride and honor for a load of years. And I was like, this lone wolf, like, fuck it, I don't need anyone. And I think when you can realize that community really is the answer, I think, a lot of opportunities will start to unlock in your life.
Yeah. And it makes it real of like, people have this ideal customer out there in the ether who's just going to pay for their stuff and everything's going to be, they're going to love it and it's going to work. But as soon as you put it close to home and like, all right, we'll offer it to this guy who you already know, then it's real of like, oh, okay, I better just maybe fix a couple of things here and there. And like the whole thing gets thought about from a different perspective. If it's not valuable to people close to you, then it might not be valuable to people at a distance. So that's like incubator idea of like let's put it put it into someone's life, and especially if you can get people from all around the world as your early testimonials, like that also has a lot of credibility. If you've got customers in on all continents, like people will recognize like, oh, okay, well, he's not just in one place. And that's, yeah, it's a beautiful way to start this. Um, Now that you have got momentum with this brand, and you got your brother and your father also part of it, like what is the vision that you're working towards? Where do you see it going over the next few years now?
Yeah, so the vision really is to just empower entrepreneurs to build and get out there, get over their fears, and go on the journey of becoming a sovereign individual, really. And it's like it's the path that I've walked, and helping people along that journey, whether it's from a business standpoint, is you know is essentially my mission, right? And the brand aspect of it, like on the surface level, it's like, oh yeah, you're building a brand, but name one successful business out there that doesn't have a brand, that isn't recognizable. And so for me, the process of branding and personal branding, it's almost an entry point into so much more for your life. And I truly believe that the world needs more brands that are honorable, brands that have integrity, brands that are actually fighting for something better than the status quo and the stuff that we see around social media around the world, all of that stuff. And so I really believe that it's in the individual's hands to actually get out there. If you have a message to share, like how are we getting it out there in a way that's effective and it's actually adding value to the world, right? I truly believe that that's where change is going to start. And so that's the vision for us, is like, how can we help more people? From a business standpoint, we want to take this and grow this, and get to a stage where we have our own village, man. I want to build a village in South Africa, a place where people can come to and have those peak experiences and learn about branding and connect, and create projects that are going to add value to the world. And so um, that's sort of a long-winded answer in terms of where we want this brand to go. And I really do get fired up when I see young guys, or whatever age, doesn't flipping matter, but they have a desire to help people. All right. And it's like, how do we actually create the brand that's going to communicate your value to the world so you can start making money and you can start helping more people? And it starts by getting to know yourself deeply, know your story, and how do we communicate that and create something that's honorable and flippin' brave at the end of the day. So but yeah, man, the vision is very much around creating this new paradigm of villages and community. And that's why, man, I'm here. We're on the team, man. We're fighting for the same thing. So that's sort of what the future looks like. You're on mute, brother. Sorry.
Yeah, there's a bit of noise here. Um, there's a lot of talk here about fatherhood and the energy that goes with that, and the power of villages and the vision of all those things. And as soon as you start thinking about that, you realize there's only so far you can go on your own. There's only so many things you can do to support your own children to have an amazing life. And yeah, that's the power of what's being built here. I don't know if you saw the Brian Michelson. He was just hunting in Africa the other day. He was posted
Yeah.
up some of the what he achieved there. I think that the Africa getting some adventures going in Africa over the next few years is going to be huge. I'm looking forward to your seeing your first event popping up over there. And um, yeah, step by step, like it takes time to build the physical locations and whatnot, but it brings so much more meaning to building online business as well. How's it been for you working from different locations? You've been getting around the world like myself over the last couple of years. As you're building a brand, you're living in different spots. Like, what have you loved and loathed about that?
Yeah, man. I mean, Flip, I think it's been a great sort of practice of just being out of the comfort zone and sort of trying to trying to adapt and see and experience new cultures. And I think that's been, it's added a lot of value to life. At this stage, like, I've just got a house here in Bali, with my partner, and we're probably a bit more settled now with a 12-month visa. So the plan is just to like hunker down and focus on the business. But the travel side of things is always going to be important to me, man. Like I don't sort of subscribe to the notion of sort of settling, if you will. Maybe I used to, but it's more just like, I guess it's also like go where you're treated best. The nomad capitalist. It's like where is the the country that's giving you the most in terms of lifestyle and communities is also so important. So I think I've felt most energized and most excited and most powerful when I am traveling and I am visiting, Vanuatu, Montenegro, all of these places. And so I think that's definitely part of the future. But I think, for now, it's just like crack on and like, and start making some serious gains in terms of just being in Bali. The lifestyle's good here at the moment. But I think to answer your question, like the digital nomad lifestyle is cool. And it's great if you do it correctly. And I think the way I did it, sometimes it went a little bit astray in the sense that I would be jumping from Airbnb to Airbnb too frequently. And so if you can travel and like stay in one place for at least a month, like or at least even a couple of weeks, I was moving around so much, which creates a lot of disruption, ungroundedness, and you only have a finite amount of time and space and energy to actually focus on what you're doing. So I think the traveling side of things is important, but right now it's like get grounded and hustle. Hey Fabs, what's up?
Yeah, how about the journey with pricing? You started with that $250 and it's like a cashback deal, and some business coaches, some people tell you don't do that. I still think it's whatever you got to do to get the experience of being in business is what you should do, wherever your confidence is at, wherever your sales skills is at, wherever your marketing is at, wherever the product's at. Like if it's all really strong, of course, come in with a high ticket offer. But if the marketing, sales, and product aren't already at a world-class level, how are you going to get them there? You got to do it. Like it's like saying you got to start with 5-ball juggling. It's like, well, no, let's just throw one ball and see how that feels. How's it been working through the pricing journey?
Yeah, I mean, it's been a journey. Let's just put it that way. I mean, I've had products from 250, 500, 5K, 10, then back 3.5. So like every price you can imagine at this stage. And I think, I think the best way to explain it is just like testing, and sort of a better way to have done it would probably have been to elevate it step by step and sort of, fill up a certain amount of clients at one price point, then raise up the prices, then fill up the amount and sort of raise up from there. I think that would have been a strong approach. For me, like I don't have a huge audience in terms of following and all of that type of stuff. So, having a lower ticket offer for me doesn't make sense because I'm not really, running ads or have a lot of traffic. We do want to create a low ticket offer, but just in terms of like the money that we make is more from high ticket stuff at this stage. And I think, yes, it does come with confidence. And I think, being able to lean into your prices when you pitch it to people is so important. I've definitely had it before. I think I watched one of Paul Council's 25K offers and I put one together, pitched it, and I was like the execution or the delivery of it was so crap that, obviously it fell flat on its face. With that pitch, but it's all good experience. And I think, now if, when I'm pitching those higher ticket offers, it's like, no, I really believe in the value that I'm offering to people. And I have the proof, I have the testimonials to say like, look, if you pay this and this is the service you're going to get, like I can, I know I'm going to give you a better service than, my competitor. I know I'm going to have more empathy, more care in the way I deliver this to you. And so I think it comes down to confidence massively, and confidence comes through reps and getting more testimonials and being in the game. And I think, um, yeah, that's a huge aspect to it. Yeah, I was gonna share something else on that, but if it pops back into my head,
Yeah.
I'll say it.
Yeah. See if it comes back there. It's something that everyone has to go through, and you say, you arrive at the conclusion of like, yeah, of course I need to do high ticket, and I do think that is strong advice for people who don't have massive audiences. The idea of going on school with $20 to $50 a month for people without big audiences, I think is a huge mistake, unless it's just the lead strategy and you've intelligent with it. But generally, it's going to be tougher to. If the low ticket thing is a subscription, you've already told them it's long term, so better to sell one time low ticket, but you can't
Yeah,
just come in at high ticket and if you're coaching people to just okay come in at high ticket, like most people are just gonna get their heads chopped off. Like it's too brutal because the marketing isn't there, the sales isn't there, the product isn't there. But the idea of okay, yeah, this is the goal price, and then we work towards that. As you said, step by step, the price goes up as more people come in and the confidence builds, you get more experience. It really is quite simple when you look at it that way. I just launched my 100K offer yesterday, and the only three people who've done it so far are Ben Patrick, Nico, and Jay Top, and they've all made millions. So it's spending 25 days together, speaking most days, working together for a year. Um, it's a really strong offer for someone who is already with some momentum but wants to do something bigger. I got to spend 25 days with Nico when he had Munduk Leaf Lodge, which now everyone knows as Bali Time Chamber, but like it was a full month of mental warfare and challenge to transform the vision or empower the vision, which was there in some way, and it was there in Ben Patrick as well, the vision to change the way the world trains. But you know, everybody needs these influences to grow the spark. In my experience, every man has a spark, but not every man is willing to flame it into something bigger. Um, and yeah, every man has light, but not everyone is willing to shine like the sun. So that's really, yeah, the journey of the guys I've spent more time with, most time with, is that we got to spend a few days together. There is a relationship with this. The other key thing that happens along with this, which I should mention, is most of them have had a strong relationship at the same time. They've had a woman in their life and that support, and generally brothers as well. So they have this like bonded social environment where they don't feel alone. And then we start talking about really expansive visions for the future, and we talk about it over and over, and things tend to shift when that happens. So yeah, I'm excited to have that back on the table as well, of something that someone can choose to move towards. And there's a 5-day one-to-one version of it as well. I love having these short, intense things like what we did. We're doing it in the group setting at the moment, with the villages, but there's not one, giving yourself permission to expand into what you really want to expand into, like have a digital product, but then if you do like spending time with people, then having that as a possibility within your offering. Not only, it's not just that it gives, it's not only that like someone might buy it and you might get money from it, it's also that it shows that you really want to interact with people and you back yourself. um,
yeah,
if I put my life on show here, it's not always perfect, I tell you. Like sometimes the kids are, there's trouble, or I'm here with my wife, like it's real, and there's 20 other men here, and so it's anyone who's buying anything online, well, they know, well, there's a certain amount of transparency there that very few people have ever exposed themselves to, that level of transparency of having others living in. Um, you went and did that with the Bali Time Chamber. I think that was a huge thing for confidence within our network of those men who were there with you in Bali Time Chamber. Like now they know you, for the your time here in Montenegro as well. Uh, so yeah, the
yeah,
pricing thing is. Did it come back to what you wanted to say there, or?
yeah. It was just that, I actually remember J Top said this to me, because I'd done a bit of consulting work. Done a bit of consulting work for me, and I think one thing that really hit home was that he looked at everything that I was offering and everything that I had to offer and everything along those lines. And he was like, mate, there are agencies and there are people out there that don't have the amount of empathy you do, the amount of service, the amount of care, the amount of like real commitment to what you're doing, and they're making a shitload more money than you. And that pissed me off. All right, that really flipping pissed me off because I was like, oh, like I know I've got a good service, I know I have a good product, but it's like I'm not marketing it correctly. I'm not putting an offer together that's actually irresistible for people. And I think the mistake that I was making was like, okay, how do I make money? How do I create an offer that's going to be really awesome, that's going to make me $1 million? And that's like the wrong question to ask yourself. And it's really about our clients. It's like, what is the off, like what is the transformation that we're helping people achieve? And I think when you build the offers and you build your products that way around and your brand that way around, where it's like, what is the payoff, what do people get from working with me? And I think that's really the the magic bullet, if you will, on creating something that people actually want to buy. Because the moment that we lead with what we think people want, we're just falling at the first hurdle, really. And you talk about your 100K offers, you talk about all these high ticket things. At the end of the day, the transformation's flipping huge. These guys are going to be making millions. It's not, well, they are making millions. It's not about the amount of money or the investment put in. It's like, what is the return? What's the payoff? And then people look at 100K and they go, shit, that's worth it. They look at a high ticket 5K offer, and actually, in the grand scheme of things, that's small based on the payoff that's coming around the corner, provided your offer is put together effectively and clearly. And I think, rather than thinking how you're going to go out there and make 100K, think about, the payoff for your client. I think that's been the biggest upgrade for me, I would say.
Love it. What about the athletic journey? That's something that we speak about in Uncommon Success. And there was a time there where you were maybe a little bit fluffier than you wanted to be, and then there was like you were pushing the powerlifting hard, and then you've been lean, you've been stronger, like different journeys. How does that play in with you with what you're doing? Do you feel like it impacts your brand, your business?
Yeah, I mean, everything really. Like I'm not, because I'm not in the health coaching space, or the coaching people around the fitness goals and stuff like that. My body or what I'm doing, like I'm not showing it on social media. It's not necessarily part of the proof. But if I was to take my shirt off, like I have a six pack. I'm in good shape, and that's something that I personally have taken a lot of pride from. And my fitness journey has been the base of success in business. It's been the base of my confidence. It's been the base of my presence when I walk into a room. It's like, no, this guy takes care of himself. Like he's not lazy. He's not about the sloth life. You know what I'm saying? And so, cut it however way you want. Like whether you're in the health space or not, your body says a lot about you. And you were the first one who said this to me, Keegan. It's like, no one can do your push-ups for you. Right. And like at the end of the day, like that's your business card. And it's like, wow, no, this guy's got discipline. This guy's not screwing around. He's taking his health seriously. He cares about how he feels. And so for me, the health journey has been, huge. And so, provided my training does get a bit lonely sometimes, and it's always much better when I'm with you guys, you push me way more. But I'm staying strong for when I do get to the village next. I don't want you guys to be too far ahead of me, for sure.
Yeah, you
George,
jumped
what's
in at
up?
the deep end on the you jumped in the deep end on that dense. I was doing 10 sets of 10 every day, and then I just built up to like a decent weight, and then you came in straight at that weight, did it fine, and then you took it to another level, but it was still a rough time to come and stay.
And I didn't think I could walk properly, bro. Like I was like fully cooked. But no, that actually set me off on a year of like going after squats like hugely.
Yeah.
I mean, my legs are pretty big at the moment. But I'm working now. I'm working on my pull-ups and my dips. Like I want to
Yeah.
have a strong pull-up and a strong bit of dips. Like that's sort of
Yeah.
the focus right now. So,
Beautiful.
but also, what's his Simon, the movement monk, we were doing a lot of the rope flow stuff. Like I thought
Yeah.
that was really interesting and really cool. And I really do want to, you know, incorporate that, because sometimes the gym does get boring. Like it does. If you are just doing strength all the time, it's like, what's really happening. So, the rope flow thing is something I'm definitely interested in exploring, like the more sort of just moving well, and that's sort of interesting to me now as well.
Are you doing some handstand stuff also?
Yeah, so I'm just at the end of every session, a little bit of handstands. Like I can't hold it for more than like 5 seconds, but I'm just doing handstand push-ups for like shoulder strength right now. So just like maybe like 2 or 3 at the end of the session. Because I don't want you guys to be handstanding without me, man.
Yeah, man. I would also recommend, like, if you're doing dips and stuff, also implement some overhead stuff, so you're getting like the dips are.
Yes.
So maybe I would do spike push-ups. You can do it anywhere.
Cool.
Start
Yeah,
with feet on the floor,
sweet.
work up, and then when you get the balance, you'll be ready for some handstand push-ups.
That's it, man. That's what I want. That's the goal. Man, thanks for the tips, brother.
Nothing. Thank you for everything, man. We give and we take.
Yeah, it looks like another beautiful day in Montenegro, man.
Every day is beautiful. It was raining and thundering. It was still beautiful.
Gorgeous, dude. Enjoy.
The last part I want to talk about is like the one that people don't necessarily want to talk about, the spiritual journey of business and the relationships that go with it. How has it impacted you as a man to be able to make your own money, become this sovereign man, choose where you live, be able to support a family if you, choose to go down that path? Like,
I mean, it's a big question, because for me it was like one day I had no money, and then the next day you got some money, and the cash flow is coming in, and you always imagine like, oh, 10K a month is going to change everything, and then you get to 10K a month and you're like, actually nothing really is changing apart from the space or the stuff that you can focus on. But it doesn't, I guess it's just that it's that level of security and groundedness that you can give to yourself and your family, which is priceless at the end of the day. And I think um, the spiritual journey, all of that stuff, it was like I had my biggest spiritual breakthroughs when I had my money stuff sorted, because I wasn't in survival mode. I wasn't like, okay, scrambling to get the next paycheck. And it's like, I think what ended up happening was like, okay, then it was like time to explore the inner world. I was able to go down those different paths and really invest money into mentorship, invest money into my relationships. So I think the ability to just have cash flow, that was my goal for a long time. It was like, I just want regular income and cash flow to just give me the space to explore the stuff I wanted to explore, to read and learn, to expand myself, rather than just reading and learning to make more money. And that was a huge change. It was like, I want to explore spiral dynamics. I want to explore the levels of consciousness, but you can't really do that if you're worried about where the next paycheck's going to come from. And so, it's like, it's such a, what comes first, the chicken or the egg? Do I focus on the spiritual, or do I make money first? And I think what I see, and it's a problem for a lot of young men, is they almost find spirituality too soon. And they find spirituality, they check out, they're like, I don't need any desires, I don't need money is evil, all of these things. And what ends up happening is they go 10 years and they realize, holy shit, I do need to make money. And then, they go in this cycle of money is this evil thing, and it's a really difficult place to get out of. And I think it's important for young men, especially, to go out there and actually interact with the world, bump into things, create things, try and make money, get into fights with the wrong people, and sort of, not being afraid of that wild man inside of yourself. And it's almost like you have to make friends and sort of embrace that part of yourself, learn to make money, and then the spiritual comes. And it's a way more beautiful journey, because it's not, you're not sort of trying to spiritually bypass things, or suppress the desires of yourself, suppress being a man. Because at the end of the day, whether we're spiritual, I believe we're spiritual beings having a human experience, but it's important for me to interact with the world and to build business and to make money and to help other people. And so for me, I had the journey, I found spirituality, I started detaching from everything, and then I realized, holy shit, no, I actually have to go on this journey. So I think there's a risk sometimes, you know, with the whole spiritual side of things. If you don't learn to make peace with that and actually learn that money is not evil, it's actually a tool that you can use to have more impact. And so it's a big crazy thing, man. It's like, you know, I'm sure you've experienced it. It's like especially in Bali, like there's a lot of the people they're in Ubud and you know they've completely detached from society. But I don't think that's the answer, because there's we need to be the sway, we need to be the swing of positive energy that's going to counteract the craziness in the world right now. And so yeah, I don't think checking out is the answer personally. And I think, you know, it's important that we do make money. It's important that we are sovereign and we take our lives into our own hands.
Love it. Yeah, I want to finish saying congratulations, thank you. You've done so much. You've come so far. The first meeting in Spain, 2020, you know, Mitch Pike and the boys, like it was a huge experience, but it was pretty much a training camp with some, you know, some random conversations going deep on different things. And it's come so far since then, and yeah, I appreciate your support that you've given all the projects that I've had along that way, and it's beautiful to see the change in your life. Different country, different source of income, different vision for the future, and it's beautiful. There's a huge amount of work that's gone into that. It's not always fun. Some of the challenges we kind of would rather not have to go through. I know you've been through so much to get to this point, and I'm so proud to have you on the team with Uncom as a mentor and someone who wants to see the villages grow and these experiences continue to happen around the world. Hopefully you'll see some. Manuel was here filming, so we got some really good content and footage out there, so you'll be able to see visually what's just happened here. I feel like we've just opened up a new chapter with the style of event that we've had here and other men wanting to run their events here. And there's a new level of growth coming within the network, and obviously like everything that men within our network can do to support Brave Brand. It all gets us closest to having those experiences in Africa. And you know, the cool thing is that the more anyone wins, the more possibility everyone has for winning. The bigger Brave Brands is, the better it is to be a part of that, and the more possibility you have to help others. It's a compounding thing that across the network, it can be very exponential, very fast. You might look at our channels at the moment, the Uncommon Brotherhood or Brave Brand or something, and think, well, you know, don't know. But when you see what's happening underneath with all these men who are growing up and the vision becoming clearer, I'm very, very confident in your future and the future that we have together. I'm always on your team. I said that to you before we decide on this partnership. But yeah, we got resources. We got everything that we need. You know, we got the heart, we got the visions, we got the skills. So let's go full on. That's the why we're working together. But it's also for all the men who listen to this now, listen back to the recording. Like the same opportunity is there. I see you bring me opportunity, I'm bringing you opportunity, and this brings more for everyone. So thank you so much for what you're doing. If you have anything final that you want to share with the brothers, with the network, signing out.
Yeah, man, just got goosebumps you saying that, man. It's like I'm pumped. I'm excited to be on this journey, and you know, we're all working towards a shared vision and a vision of a better world. So yeah, I have no doubt that the future is bright, you know, with all of us working on our missions and our visions, and we're making it happen. So yeah, no, that's where I'll leave that. But look, if anyone wants to get in touch or need support, just DM me on Telegram. We can have a chat. No problem.
Love it.
I just want to say that there's some real magic happening here, Luke. So yeah, jump on as fast as possible. Like, don't wait. And
100%.
let's connect. Let's connect. Sorry.
Let's do it. Let's do it. Cheers, George.
You want to share some there as well, Fab?
Hey, I was just listening. I like everything you did, Luke. and I really enjoyed your course as I did the project blend course. I still work. I still need to work. I still need to make a better offer. I'm still on my journey to be a better man, I guess. And yeah, I am a little bit lost at the moment. Once again, like the beginning of the year, because I'm not making much money, and I know like not in trouble, but this is just like in my head, and it's a little bit annoying. But I know I will handle it, and I will make better. But yeah, I don't know what to say.
No, I understand, man. Mate, I'll tell you what, bro. Let's I'll be down for brainstorming just some stuff around you know what you're doing. So
Yeah, I need to answer you. I need to
yeah,
answer to you on Telegram. I know
let's
you
link
text
up,
me,
man.
and I need to.
We could even do it as like a, I don't know, we could even do it as an uncom chat if people want to work on their offers together or something like that. Because I'm going through that process now. It's like we've had a really strong offer, but it's like making it even more powerful. Like, what is the payoff? Like, what's the actual tangible problem we're solving? How are we actually putting that together? So I'll be down for doing like a brainstorm session if you guys are keen.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm definitely down for that as well. And I know there'll be a lot of opt-ins on this from the Brotherhood. NASA, we may as well. I'd like to throw to you as well, brother, since you're in here and you've been going hard, you've been transforming yourself.
I just wanna. I had a conversation with Luke like a couple weeks ago, and Paul Cancel talks about this, like when you're at the edge of like kind of your limit, you don't know how to like express kind of how you're feeling, I guess. And that's where I'm at right now, almost like what you're saying like really resonates. Like if I want to like actually do something, I have to like have it have it for the customer, and have it yeah, like how I'm saying, like I don't know how to express it, but it's just it's hitting home, and it's definitely something I need to figure out, like my skills and how I could help people, because I know I need to help myself to help other people, but that's just what's really hitting home. And it's I was really glad I was here and got to write stuff down and really listen and everything. So thank you for all you shared, Luke, and thank you guys for everything.
Pleasure, brother.
Yeah, you're very welcome. And I understand the struggle. The struggle continues. It's not without struggle to have a village here in Montenegro, to have 20 men here, and to have this and that and other things going on. Like it's ever present. There's new challenges coming for Luke. There's new challenges coming for Fabian, everyone. But we rise, we pass through the challenges, and that's what happens. Like, look at where you're at now compared to where you were a few months ago, compared to where you were a year ago, 2 years ago. We're all in completely different positions with the work that we've done, and that's the thing that you can leverage for confidence. But yeah, I love that we're in that together, and we want to face those challenging questions. What would it take? What would it take to own the village? And yeah, you can get some impatience of, okay, well, hurry up. When am I going to have the cash to buy this big chunk of land, or what it's going to be? But the biggest and best thing is who you become in the process, and what you learn about yourself, and then what you have to share with other brothers through the struggle. It's the baptism into greatness, and it's not always easy to embrace that joyfully, but we're moving in that direction of embracing the challenge of it. The challenges will get bigger, but the ability to embrace the challenges and enjoy the process is also something that we can grow as a skill. So yeah, I look forward to continuing the journey with you, Fab, Nas, Luke, Giorgo. And yeah, let's book the next one in as a practical workshop. Let's go some step-by-step stuff and some Q&A. And this was good to recapture the story again, because it's been a while and you've come a long way since we last did one of these. And so it's nice to capture that. And yeah, let's look out for a deeper dive into the details again.
Cool. Yeah, sweet guys. Thanks for joining, man. Good to see you, lads. And we'll catch up soon. Cheers, Keegs.
Champion. Talk soon.
Out.